you see this looks a little bit different than the Kdenlive I had before. That's because I said since I'm doing these tutorials I better upload to the latest and greatest. So I upgraded to 19.04. I'm going to bring in some images now. I'm going to bring in a clip. I'm going to bring in a thumb and a hand subscribe. That should do me. I'm going to take this clip and do it first because I want to find the place where the music's being played, and we'll use everything at that point. So I think, if I remember right where this gets amplified is where the boogie woogie starts. Yep, that's right. The boogie woogie starts here. So we're gonna first I'm gonna cut something close, just so I can zoom in on it and look at it a little bit. So we're taking everything off before that and we're deleting it, and we're going to drag this down to the very beginning. And notice the difference of this Kdenlive of the 19. It automatically breaks the soundtrack into two different places. That's kind of neat. It does that. Let's find out where this begins at now. I think if I zoom in, I can actually even see it. I think it's right there. A little dip before, but we're going to try it and see. Yes, it's right in there. Right there. So if I clip it right there and get rid of this one, we'll get it right as the music starts. You see it dropped right down to nothing, and then the music starts. So we're going to let's drag this back, put that all the way back, and see what happens here. Good. Okay. Now we can take the music, and I can hear it. I don't think you can. Maybe you can hear it a little bit in the background. If I play it, it starts right in with the music, and I think I'm going to taper that in a little bit. If I go like this, if I get up here and get that finger and drag it over, and that will taper the music in. So now if I back it up, it's not going to just come bow and start with the music. Okay, and we want to do about not much more than 10 seconds. Okay, let's do it right. It sounded like I don't know what you want to call it, like the end of a. I don't know what they call them, stanza or a bar or something. It sounded like it ended around there though. And I want to get rid of the back. So this is the clip we're working with right here. This is it. Now let's go ahead and put one in up above. We'll add a track up above, and it will be a video track. And we're gonna, do we want just one or we want two? Let's put two. We'll add a track, another video track on top of that. And what we'll do is we'll put this in one of them right here. We won't have that start immediately. We'll give it a little bit of time to start. And we'll put the thumb up here. I've actually got it one higher than what I need to have it. There we go. Now if we play this, Let's see what our image looks like. Okay. Now that was nice, except I don't want them that big, nor do I want them to be that to snap in. I want them to blend in. So let's use transform. We'll go to transform tool. There's the transform tool. Let's say in the very beginning, as this image begins, there's the beginning and there's the end. Let's go to the very end, which is here, and that sets the finger at the right point, right at the very end. We'll say at the beginning, we want that to be 0 opacity. Most of the way through about there, I would say about there, we want to give it 100% opacity. So we're right there. We add another keyframe. It's called a keyframe. And at that keyframe, this is going to be 100%. At the very end down here, we do another keyframe. And that's also 100%. So watch what happens to this image now when we run it. We start here, we run the image. Nice, but we can do more. We can do more. We can actually move that location and say, hey, at this point right here, that point right there is good, but at the end, by the time it gets here, let's put it over at this point here. Let's slide that down right there, and we'll change the size of it. We'll change the size and we'll move it down in that corner. That's out of the way of that hand. And at that point, it'll be down at that corner and it will remain there until the end. So we want to take this point and duplicate it. That point is 100. Let's see, that's minus 356 and 205. Minus 356, minus 356, and 205. Now I think those are the same. They're the same. Now let's get the size the same. The size there. I know there's a way to duplicate this, but I don't know what it is yet. We'll find out next time. 1088. We'll click here and write 1088. And since it's in proportion, those are locked. It didn't do it. Huh. Okay, 1088 and 505. 505. Oh, I didn't click it to lock them. I think I have to click it to lock it. Yeah, if I clicked it, it would have done it. Okay, live and learn for everybody, right? Okay, let's come up here and watch what happens now. Okay, now let's see if we can do the same thing with this one here, except in the reverse. We will take that and right there, we'll do a transform to it. We'll take that transform, and at this point, that's where we want it at. But at this point, well, actually we don't want it that big even right there. We want it to start a little bit smaller. At that point, right there, we want another keyframe, just like we did with the other one. Let's put a keyframe in there. And by this point, we want it down right here. And then if I add a keyframe here, it'll stay in the same spot. That's what I did wrong before, is I already had a keyframe and I shouldn't have had one. Now if we do it, watch what happens here. We start here, and let's play it. Slide down at one, and now it slides down the other corner. Now we've got room to put a little bit of text up on top there. Add a track. Okay. And we'll do add a title clip. And we want the background transparent. Because we're going to set it on that top line. Now put some text in there. KD. Add some text. KDN. Kdenlive. Tutorial. Add text. And images. Okay, we'll take that, and now you want to center it on your drawing, so you hit this and that centers it. Since it's so big, we have to reduce the size. Now we'll reduce the size so it all fits in there. Center it again, so it has to be a little bit smaller. Center it again, good. Let's make that a color red. Let's put a white outline on it. Click there for white. And we had an outline. Push down Control and click that image, and I can move it where I want to. I want it right up there near the top. And that should do. That should do for what I need. I'm going to tell it OK. Now we take this clip and we drag it down, put it on top here. And let's drag that out the whole way and hope that we can see through it. Yes, we can. Okay, good. It's actually pretty small on here. It's smaller than I thought it would be. But that's okay. I guess the different sizes was whether you had a, because we can take and make this bigger. Transform. That's what the transform's all about. Let's take the transform. We'll make it larger. And we'll slide it up. And we'll make that clip so in the beginning it has no opacity. You shouldn't be able to see it. And about here, about this time, we'll make it start appearing. So as that one starts to fade, the other one starts to come in. So we make that 0 there. which it is. And we'll make that a keyframe. And then by here, which is at this point where the thumbs come in, where the thumbs start to shrink, it will have an opacity at that time. We'll add another pin to our title clip. We're adding another keyframe to the title clip. And at that point, we want to be 100% opacity. And you can see it. Now, if we take this whole thing, back it up, I think we've got a video. Now, the only thing that did happen, let's see, what happened that I didn't like. Oh, I want this one to last all the way through, clear to the end now. And I'm not sure what that did to my frame right here. We'll take that keyframe and drag it all the way down to the end. And that one should be okay. Okay, let's back it up again, give it one last look, and now I think it's a video. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. I'm going to take one last look